tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Oh, I wanted to hear the music. There we go.
You're just too good to be true.
There we go.
Can't take my eyes off
Hit it, Marina.
Right here.
you. Like
The shoulder.
If you're watching us on streaming, Marina's putting on a show right now.
The shoulder.
It's
like
probably worth coming to
Yeah.
see.
That's the shot. That's the shot right there.
If you're watching us on video,
just too good to be
And then Ryland's just slapping next to her.
yes, it's so funny having Ryan. There we go.
There
She's
you go.
serenading Ryan.
Yeah, it's good.
There we go. Yes, absolutely. Just like Katharine Mcphee. Almost.
Yes.
Just like Katharine
Yes.
McPhee in this episode. Hi, everybody. Let's do some introductions. This is a Scorpion after show on AfterBuzz. How are you doing? My name is Nando Velasquez, and next to me is Monse Bolanos.
Hi, everybody. Welcome.
Yes, and the sexy siren next to her is Marina.
Oh, showing some shoulder.
Yeah. Show you some skin right here.
I like
Hi, guys.
Get it.
I like how I said sexy siren. She just points to her shoulder.
Yeah.
I'm fully dressed. The only thing you can see is the corner of my shoulder, and it's like sexy siren.
and Ryland Adams just having a blast. Just having a blast next to her.
Just
Ryland's
cozy
like,
up.
why did I
Aw.
sit next
Just
to
give me
Marina?
one.
These guys are coupling up. Everyone's coupling up. Everybody's
Not
coupling up.
Toby and Happy.
Not Toby and Happy.
No, Toby and Happy. Wah, wah.
Well, yeah, we gotta talk about that.
Well, not yeah. Only us here.
So
Not
we're
even TV.
yeah, exactly. Well, it's cold. It's not an excuse. Anyway, this is season 1, episode 8. The name of this episode is Risky Business, and as we see, it was Katharine McPhee's finally getting to show off a little singing. I thought that was. Let's just talk about that at the top
Yeah, let's get it out of the way.
I feel like anyone who watches the show and is a fan of Katharine McPhee was probably excited to hear that she was going to be singing this episode. But I think it was a little bit of a cop out the
It
way
was
they came
so
out.
forced.
Yeah.
It was so forced.
so cheesy. I thought there was a way better scene for her to sing than where she did.
Not that
Which we
her
can talk
singing
about
was
it
bad.
later. Yeah.
Not
We're
that her
not-
singing
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah,
bad.
yeah.
It was just anticlimactic.
Yeah.
It did. I wanted it to be like this epic thing, and it was just like.
That's the thing. I didn't even want it to be epic. I didn't mind
No.
it. The epic, it wasn't about it. It was just that it was forced.
Yeah.
It was like, let's just
Yeah.
get it out of the way. She sings this, done.
Yeah.
We're good. When it's like all this stuff, I'm sorry. I know
okay.
you want to talk. But I feel like every time Katharine McPhee has this type of role where she's not the singing character, which is everything besides Smash, they throw it in, and it's always been rushed.
How would you like to see it though?
It's just it's episode 8. Like we don't. It's too
Yeah.
soon. Come on.
I
Like
think it would have been perfect if when they went to the king, what is his name?
Lucky the King.
Lucky
Yes.
the King's
Yeah.
office. She went in as
As the record artist that they're trying to
yes,
sell.
and that would have been perfect.
Perfect.
I
Instead of
almost
Toby
think-
being like,
and then we got to showcase like an audition, which she's used
that's
to.
exactly.
and
That wouldn't
would
have been felt
appropriate.
forced.
Get her in her wheelhouse.
Yeah, it was kind of funny because she brought up a little bit about singing beforehand,
Mm-hmm.
and then when they were about to go to Lucky's place, Toby was mentioning, "Oh, let's do it like I have to audition. I'm going to audition for you." And I thought, well, Katharine would be the perfect, or
Right.
excuse me, Paige would be the perfect person to do this because she already brought up that she sings, so they left her out of it. And then it was funny that Toby said he was a battle rapper, and we got to hear him sing. Or
Or
him
beatbox.
rap
Yeah.
before
Or
his
try.
lame rap, his attempt at rapping before we even got to hear Katharine, Paige, sing. So it was a weird setup. I pictured it differently.
Yes.
Samesies.
Yeah, I pictured
Ditto.
it very differently. Like maybe even in front of a nightclub, or even like I even said beforehand. I said they're probably gonna have the whole family thing at the end. They're at a karaoke bar and she sings
Yeah,
there
that would
or
be
something.
great, too.
That would have been good.
They did get like everyone seeing her sing though, so
Right.
we're like,
Including
oh,
Drew.
Paige, including Drew.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and let's start getting into the episode because there's a lot that has to do with Drew. This is the second time we've seen Drew. He's back. He's spending time with Ralph. We we open up really seeing a really interesting scene with Walter and this Russian, this Serbian gangster. I had his name down. I wrote it down. It was something odd. It started with an S. If you guys have it, I put my laptop away for this because I was just gonna do it. But anyway, so he's doing a it's kind of like Fast and Furious type of looking thing. They're doing this big drag race. Walter is because he's so smart. He's hit like 50 plus variables on tire pressure and every little thing about the car. The Russian's like, the only variables, green means go. That's all he cares about. And Walter's kicking butt. He's going a different route. He's doing every little thing. Really, nice little. You said it was Long Beach.
It is Long Beach.
You're sure it was Long Beach?
Positive.
Yeah, in the middle of the night, like a midnight race.
Yeah, that's like where you can find like the Queen Mary area, or like if you go to downtown Long Beach.
Do you think it's ever that not busy to be able to drag race like that?
No, they must have
Not even at midnight.
never. Yeah,
It
no.
must have been a big deal to close all those streets down.
Well, they
though.
probably did it like in the middle of the night too.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
I would
They probably
assume
shot
so.
it, like 4 or 5 in the morning.
Yeah, it's really, exactly, like 3-4 in the morning, I would
Yeah.
think. But but anyway, so we see Walter's doing a great job. We've seen him drive before in the pilot, drive fancy cars in the pilot, so it's not the
chasing the
first time.
airplane.
Yeah, and it looks like he's going to win, and then there's a variable that he didn't expect. As we know, the streets are not empty, even at 3-4 in the morning, and we finally see a car, and it happens at the worst time, right when he's about to cross the finish line. So, name of this episode's Risky Business. So we see him taking risks. He bet his car.
Not his car.
But it's not his car.
His rented car.
Which makes it more risky because
Yeah. Dealing with a Russian gangster.
with a car that's not yours.
Yeah, a rental.
Which is also like a crazy hobby, which he says is his hobby, which alter motives. But that's an interesting thing to be doing, renting a car and then drag racing.
Well, I think what's interesting, and we see it later on, it's Walter deals with things that, I'm not saying I'm the kind of guy to go out drag racing in the middle of the night, but Walter deals with normal things or things that normal people would do in a very different way.
Right.
He analyzes all these different variables that no one else would really properly pay as much attention to. Even your biggest gearheads probably wouldn't pay attention to as many variables as Walter is paying attention to do this race.
Yeah, and he says for him it's like meditating, right? Because he says it's something that he's able to completely focus on, and he's thinking about it the whole time, that he doesn't think about other things.
Well, we figure because Toby's talking to him a little bit later about what he's doing and some of the other actions he's doing, and I think that was Walter's excuse that he's meditating. But just to deal with Toby, because Toby we know can read Walter really well. We've seen that before, and Toby's pretty much noticing that this is happening all at the same time as Drew showing up, and just dealing with his own things, distracting himself, going for bigger game. I think he said to avoid dealing with issues.
And their job's already high adrenaline, so he has to do something pretty crazy to get his mind off of what he's already thinking about, and then plus Paige.
It's like, you don't think your life is just a risk? Everything you do, you don't know?
He's heightening it. But, this is very Toby-like behavior, which is kind of funny. You could picture Toby doing this kind of stuff, but not Walter.
Yeah, with his gambling.
So it's probably another reason why Toby can notice it and call him out on it, because it's something Toby deals with usually.
But everybody has their weakness.
Everybody has their weakness.
And Walter's weakness is Paige.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Ralph.
And
Ralph.
agree.
And
That
Ralph.
whole duo. Yes, I agree.
Bam.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because we also see Ralph failing in algebra with a D minus, and it was
I
very
feel you, Ralph.
Yeah.
I remember algebra. Algebra 2. Oh, I hated algebra.
D
Wait, is
minuses.
he's in algebra already?
I don't know.
Well, he's a genius. He's a prodigy.
Probably,
He's
yeah.
probably in a class all by himself, and he's failing it.
Yeah, he's like, they had to put him in high school.
Yeah, and we see that when Walter's talking to him, because Paige can't, we see Walter talking to him, and we see Ralph looking back at Drew. So we definitely see there's a connection between the two. And I wrote it down at the time, but they talked about it at the end, that is he upset or distracted or frustrated, or this is his way of dealing with a new person in his life, or is he dumbing himself down for his dad? And it seems like, at least in that case,
Yeah.
perhaps he is.
Because he's trying to relate.
Right.
He's trying
Like,
to...
hey, Dad,
Not
you're
that Drew's
so
dumb,
I'll
but
be
he's
dumb
a
too.
genius. Like, we're all not the IQ that
He's
they
dumbing
are.
himself down.
Well, he's trying to relate to his dad.
I know his quote was, "Maybe it's a good thing to be normal." That's
Yeah.
what Ralph says to Walter when
Right.
Walter asks him about it.
Yeah,
It's like,
when he looks
oh.
back at his dad too, so he sees that. So it's a really interesting relationship because not only that, but we see Walter in that moment. He is the father.
Right.
He is the one going up to the kid who's failing in a class and having that talk.
Yeah.
You know, and meanwhile Ralph's like looking over his shoulder at his real dad. You know, so I'm sure that sucks for Walter as well, because Walter obviously, you know, again, he has two weaknesses.
Yes,
I think
yeah.
I think Ralph's definitely a weakness, and he
Yeah.
knows, and he also knows that the key to Paige's heart, I think, is also
Is
Ralph.
Ralph.
It's also Ralph.
You know,
yeah.
not that he needs to manipulate that, but
He already has the in with Ralph.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, manipulate as in fake it. Not that he has to fake it with Ralph because he loves Ralph.
Yeah, but he relates to him on the same mind wavelengths.
Yes, absolutely. So anyway, so we see that, and then we get the case for the week, which is a murder case. I guess it's their first murder case. I guess that's true because Sylvester's really scared, doesn't want to walk into it, and we've seen him in certain places when he's uncomfortable. I'm surprised he walked in there. I figured all the germs from a dead body lying down on the floor.
And the smell, just by the smell, I feel like he wouldn't want to go in.
Yeah, totally.
None of them. Pedro's like, well, I'm not happy about it either.
But what's funny was, they go into this crime scene, this murder suspect, the crime scene area, and they see the guy on the floor, and you hear Sylvester get a little squeamish, and then they notice a whiteboard with a half erased algorithm on it, and he just shifts just like that. He's just like, oh, and he runs right up to the whiteboard and fills in all the extra space. It's a puzzle, you know, and he gets really distracted. He doesn't even worry about like the size of the chalk, not that there's chalk on whiteboard, but you know what I mean. He doesn't even worry about how it's supposed to look. He just like a kid with a new toy.
That's his meditation.
That's his. That's
That's where
actually his
he-
meditation.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And so we discovered some really big algorithm, and I wrote it down, but not that I could understand it 100%. But it was not that I could understand it, but pretty much it was. I did write it down somewhere. I know I did. Anyway, it was an algorithm that was created. We find out it was an algorithm that was to create the perfect pop song. Right. And there was a signature in ASCII that we wouldn't have been able to figure out, but Walter, of course, did, that gave the initials PT, which we found out was for Peyton Tanner.
Temple.
Why do I keep saying Tanner?
He
I did
keeps
this
calling
before.
this guy a different name.
Every time.
The only name he remembers is Peyton. That's the only thing.
Peyton.
Well,
our BF Peyton.
I have to mess up one name a
say
show.
PT.
I have
Just
to
say
mess up.
PT.
I have to mess up one name per
That's
show.
true. It's every show. It's have one
every
name.
show.
Why not?
Peyton Temple.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. So anyway, Peyton, which you know what? We didn't have a chance. I looked on IMDb. I have an issue of IMDb. I'm about to go ballistic
Tell us
on
more.
them. It's just a small issue for what we do. We can look up the episode cast lists, but they're never
Accurate.
really
Well,
accurate.
yeah, that's
Yes.
true. It takes forever. Even I know a lot of friends that are actors that like wait months to get their like guest star on TV
Yeah,
shows.
well, you can actually input it yourself if you're an actor and you have IMDb.
But it takes forever. They'll put like the wrong name or
Oh,
like.
I've done it before for my own stuff, for my own work, but I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I don't know the name of the actor. He looks familiar. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Jordan Peele from Key and Peele. He reminds me of him. He's not him. But if anyone knows, I'm sure someone does, and they'll put it and they'll tweet it at us. Feel free. You can tweet it at us. If you're watching now, you can tweet it at us now and
Yes.
save us.
Yeah, do
anyway,
that.
but really, really good job by Temple, the actor playing Temple. I really liked him a lot. So anyway, so we end up finding out that this man is the author. And again, taking risks, Walter decides to go on his own and break into this really fancy house. I was going to call it a mansion, but it's just a really, really good house. Even though cave and nobody else knows about it because they can't get a warrant to go in. He gets electrocuted. We see a big old Rottweiler, barking up at him, and we meet Peyton. And Peyton is an interesting character. I mean, he seems really cool. He definitely is incredibly smart, because he has he wrote that algorithm, but he doesn't think he's kind of a genius level like the rest of the team's working.
Ex-musician.
cool.
He is cool.
He's a music guy. He's hip.
From the beginning, though, I thought he was going to be like the mischievous one. I was like, you're
I
like
thought so
too.
too.
I was like, you're too put together to be.
And
normal.
it's
'Cause you said
usually
it's
the
like
way it
hoodie.
works.
Yeah.
It's never the first it's always a first person, but they just go through all these people and then they go back to the first person.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
So
thought
you guys thought that he was? You actually
Bad
thought he was
guy.
a suspect? At the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, of course, because he's like his friend. It's
Yeah.
like, you're sketchy, man.
There was a moment. There was a moment, and later on in the episode, maybe we'll talk about it, that I thought maybe he was yeah, maybe he was the suspect. Maybe he was the guy. But no, I can't, my first vibe of him was just he doesn't trust anybody. And, you know, we see a guy who's very protective of himself. He's a little scared because he knows that something's going on. Somebody broke into his house before, and that's why he got the dog. And he talks about how he's been screwed over the music industry. You know, Hollywood's a tough town. You know,
Misunderstood artist.
Very misunderstood artist. He got screwed over. And he talks about how he created this algorithm. He aggregated data, if I remember correctly, from like the past 50 years of pop songs to create the perfect song.
Yeah.
And he started hearing them on the radio by other artists. I actually thought it was really funny.
The artist he dropped?
The artist that Toby dropped.
Yes.
Yes.
So funny.
I thought it was hilarious to hear him go, it's Macklemore.
Yeah.
You know?
It has to be.
It has to
There's
be.
no other way. It's so good.
I hope it's not Jack White. You know,
Yeah.
it was like saying all these names.
It's like Kesha.
Kesha's one of them. Kesha's got to be one of them.
Yeah.
So I would say, you know what? I'm just for fun, if they ever had an algorithm like that, who do you think has it?
Oh.
I'm just gonna throw it out there.
What do you mean?
Let's
Like
have
what
fun.
artist would use it?
Yeah, if there was really an algorithm to make the perfect pop song, is there an artist right now that you would say, oh yeah, that person definitely has it?
I feel
Taylor
like this
Swift.
is...
I had a feeling someone was gonna say that.
Really?
Yes, she's on
I like
top of
Taylor
the pop
Swift.
game. No, I like her too,
Okay.
but all of her songs
Just
are like
because she's such a
she
hit.
goes so viral.
Oh.
Everything she does is so calculated. She
She-
says she writes her own
It doesn't
songs.
have to be
But
an
I-
insult. It doesn't have to be an
no.
insult. It
It's
could be
not.
someone
No,
you
no,
really respect.
I like
Yeah.
Taylor Swift.
But I think it has to be like a one-hit wonder. You know those people that comment.
No, you
No,
want to
no.
keep
no,
banking
because
them
you,
out.
yeah, and that's why I'm saying Taylor Swift is
Okay.
because she has hit after hit.
Well, and then if it was gonna be like that, then we should
Love
do
Taylor
Katy Perry because she's the only one that had 5 #1 hits in one album.
There you go.
Really? Is that true?
Yeah,
Well,
her and Michael Jackson.
Well, Taylor Swift sold the most albums since
Uh-oh, I see
Britney's
a
in
battle.
one week.
I see a battle.
This in
Oh,
1989 sold more albums in 1 week than any album since Britney
Yeah.
Spears
She's
back
really
in the
good.
day.
I like them both.
Have you guys listened to her album 1989?
I haven't heard the whole thing, but she dropped her new music video today for Basic Space. I'm all about it.
I just wanted to go back to just
She
go
fabulous.
back. She's great, but go back to what you started.
What she started
What
as.
you started with. You are not a pop artist.
But I think
Alright.
she's evolving. Okay,
We're
we're
digressing. We're really
I could go on for
tune in to the
this
tune into
was
the
all
after
Nando's
show.
fault.
the
Nando's
1989 after show review.
Yes, exactly. No, I was just saying, like, what kind of artist? Like, I guess,
for
I
days.
don't know, I can't think of, I'll say Katharine Mcphee just for the hell of it.
Oh.
I know, that does sound
Is
like an
that
insult.
'cause she-
That
okay,
does
I'm
sound
not
like an
gonna
insult.
comment.
I'm not going to comment. That's
Oh,
bad. I like
wait,
her.
No, never mind.
I do too.
I don't know.
Okay.
She's working though, so she's doing good.
Yeah,
Right.
totally.
Oh,
You
you,
go,
know
girl.
who I'll say then?
And we like the
Pharrell.
Pharrell. You know what?
Dude, how many songs he has produced
Yeah.
that are super duper famous? And I
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
no idea.
And you know what? I will say this. Peyton kind of reminds me a little bit, without the hat,
Yeah,
of
of
Pharrell.
Pharrell.
If you
That's
think about
true.
it. Because you would think that maybe they patterned him off kind of like somebody.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So Pharrell's a big time producer.
Producer.
He is,
Singer,
and he does.
everything.
He does. Yeah, everything. He does
Yeah.
talk show music. He kills it.
I could see that being
And
him.
he's awesome.
So yeah, and he's awesome. But anyway, so
Good talk.
let's good talk, good little
favorite
strategy.
so
So
far.
speaking of people who are Scorpion.
Speaking of Scorpion.
Speaking of Scorpion, speaking of people who seem to resemble other people, the first suspect they have after they talk to Peyton and they figure out like all the artists and who could have taken this is this guy Lucky the King. So and he's a gangster and he's a hip hop mogul. I
Crazy.
guess. Crazy. He still has 4 bullets in him. He was shot at 3 times. All this stuff. Who do you think they were trying to emulate from
Ice
that?
Cube. He looks so much like Ice Cube.
50 Cent. No?
Well, the bullet thing reminds me of 50 Cent, but
Right.
like he looks like Ice
But
Cube. I
he's
feel.
like he's not an artist. He's a
a
manager.
Ice Cube, yeah, Ice Cube's not. I mean, it reminds me. I feel like they were trying to politely say Suge Knight a little bit. So Suge Knight,
no idea.
All of us are like cricket.
really?
No, I know
Okay.
who that is, but I didn't
Monty's
think that.
hip.
Yeah, I didn't
I'm
think
not
that.
hip. Sorry.
No,
not
I
hip.
see that, but I thought the bullet thing was. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
bullet
the
thing
bullet
could be
thing was
50
definitely
Cent,
like
too.
50 Cent. He has like
Yeah.
50 bullets in his body and he's alive.
I mean,
He hard.
so I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'm sure they weren't really trying to realistically portray somebody, but it was kind of like just trying to go for a little, like, you know, who would be a really tough badass that they'd be frightened to go and ruffle feathers. Because, of course, they have to go ruffle his feathers and try and figure out if he is actually the person who stole the formula, and if he's the person who killed Peyton Reed, the blogger that we were at for the original, the first scene. So, and it was a really cute little thing. We talked a little bit about it. We talked about Toby going up there with Paige, Paige not singing, Toby not singing, and going up with Temple, and them trying to strong arm Lucky with that, with Toby being a lawyer. That's not the first time he's played the lawyer before, so he's getting used to playing the lawyer, and trying to scare Lucky a little bit. So very interesting scene, really fun scene. Of course, Toby couldn't do the bug, so Paige to the rescue.
Yeah.
Which, can we talk about that?
Yeah, please indulge.
Didn't you guys think it was kind of weird? It's like, oh, you're just gonna leave it on the case that's right in front of him that he can just grab and open, and then he's gonna see the bug. Okay, cool.
But I've done some work in the music industry.
Yeah.
And a lot of those times those CDs last. They're forever.
I understand, but it was just like the type of bug it was. It was like she just put it in the case, like. Just hitting it over and opening it. It was like, oh, there's a bug.
Well, maybe their hope was that he would pick up the phone immediately and they'd find that, and then by the time he found it, it doesn't matter.
Oh, right, because you'd think if it
'Cause
was
they
him, he would call him right away.
They were looking for that immediate phone call after they left to be like, you got to keep quiet on this.
Yeah, that's true. And
because that's the only time they really needed it. It seemed like they
Mm-hmm.
didn't keep tracking him or anything. Because what does he do when they leave? He calls an IT company.
Right.
Yeah.
Which was kind of funny. Which was weird.
And they're like, he just needs IT.
Yeah.
Because he's a control freak. Because he handles his own IT, which interesting.
Yeah.
So.
I do. I would.
Yeah.
And I thought for a second maybe the IT company had something to do with it because you figure it's an algorithm. It's very nerdy and geeky. It was stolen off of Temple's hard drive, IT. But we ended up finding out that whether it was IT or not at the time, we saw that van explode. So absolutely. So anyway, so we, whoever it is finding out. It is discovered that Team Scorpion and Temple are finding out who did this whole thing. Yeah. So anyway, after a little bit of research, they trace it to the next guy, which is Owen Sugar, who I don't know who he's supposed to be. Just seems kind of like a little bit of a swarmy manager type of guy.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I think. So anyway, so Team Scorpion goes back in to try and do something. Oh, actually, I'm skipping over some stuff because I know we're a little short on time. So apologize about that. Well, the explosion, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I said. I said it exploded.
Okay.
I mean, it was a big explosion. They got out in time, and they got some satellite feeds and saw this military guy from their security camera. So, and we see that Temple's leaving the place, and he ends up getting taken captive. So let's not forget that he ends up taking captive, and for the second time this episode, Walter gets electrocuted by a
Taser?
It was like
it was kind of a taser,
stun
right?
gun?
a stun gun taser.
There was discussion about this. That's why I stalled to see what everyone's going to say. So,
different things.
Awesome. So anyway, so Temple is taken captive, which obviously means that Team Scorpion has to go to the rescue. Again, Cabe is barely in this episode at all.
Yeah.
So.
Just the beginning.
And he was in. Okay, so earlier we were discussing really quick when Walter sneaks in by himself because they don't have the warrant to go into Temple's home.
Yeah.
And then after he sneaks in, there's like an image of everybody kind of watching and waiting for them. And Cabe was there, and I was like, but he's not supposed to be there. But the other guy was gone. Jim Archer, which was the other guy he was gone. I thought that was
was weird.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back and watch it. It happened all so quick, but he was in the background. I was like, he's not supposed to be there. And then it went to a commercial, and I was like, okay, but now I'm gonna go back. But
it is weird because we see them going.
Yes.
We see them going rogue every episode, and Cabe usually gets really pissed off. But now here they are, kind of going rogue, and Cabe's like, okay, that's them.
Yeah.
He's kind of like getting used to it. Now he's just hanging out, like
They're
eating
starting
potato
to get-
chips, watching them do it.
Popcorn.
You're not going to listen to me. Just go do what you got to do.
They're starting to get job security.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, isn't it? But anyway, so here they go breaking into Owen Sugar's penthouse, trying to save Temple before he gets killed because they overhear him and he's going to have all this high-tech equipment. They see the infrared and everything, and they find out they're going to get whatever information they can out of him to find out who else has this algorithm, and then they're going to kill him. And we get to see, they obviously are not doing a great job rescuing Temple. So Toby has to do Plan B, which involves
Him rap.
him rapping,
Let's not give him too much credit.
him trying to rap.
It was like more of a.
I mean, it's better than what I can do, but that's not right.
Yeah, me too. I'm not gonna try it.
Yeah.
It was one line.
We'll do it.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a wrap up. You sing, you rap.
The beatbox.
What are we gonna rap about, like Toby?
I'm sorry, guys. I'm never gonna. do
That's
that.
okay. So anyway, so Toby gets
Trying to get
taken on top over the ledge for that. We saw that little clip last week.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that little scary. And then Walter comes back to rescue because we know Walter always has to be the hero and save himself for his friends whenever someone's in danger.
He's
So
like the
goes-
captain of the boat.
He's
Yeah.
the captain
Yeah.
and
He's the-
rescues. And we end up seeing them go down the elevator. They're taking them all down to probably kill them and also find Temple because obviously Temple's gone at this point. And Happy takes control of the elevator.
Right.
And it was a really, one of you guys said it. It was
Yeah.
kind of a weird way to
I
end
was like,
the
how
whole
would they
thing.
pass out from that?
Because they all like get their belts, they're like holding on.
I mean, they were supposed to be knocked out. That's what I understood.
Yeah.
But it was weird. I agree. And it was,
not pass out, knocked out. Sorry.
Yeah, it's supposed to be knocked out, but I don't really.
I
It's
don't
an
think they
interesting
were.
say.
And I feel like you
But-
would be jerked, even
Yeah.
if you're holding on to your
Yeah,
to
maybe
your
like
belt.
puke a little bit or
Nah.
something.
I would have held
You'd be
on
like-
to Toby. If I was one of those guys, I would have held on to Toby or Walter.
I would love it. It'd be like Tara Terror. Like, yeah.
Okay,
Marina would have loved it. Okay.
probably not the same,
Yeah.
but close.
Close.
Close enough.
Close
like
enough.
real life.
Real life Tower of
Real
Terror.
life Tower of Terror. No seatbelts.
Without seeing the outside, like the rest of the park.
Yeah, but I
Nice.
missed that.
So
It's like
yeah,
a
it
good
was
touch.
it was weird, and then of course Cabe's there to rescue the day.
Yeah.
It was a really quick way
Good
to
to go.
end
Yeah,
it.
Yeah.
It felt like it went by really fast, but we didn't have a lot of details. It was everything happened very fast. Like this happened. Okay, then this takes us to this.
Yeah.
And these are the guys.
And
All
then
right.
he was
little
just
choppy.
automatically. Bah!
Yeah, it was a little choppy. Every scene, it didn't really flow. It didn't really end very.
Well, yeah, I think one of the reasons why obviously there was some other stuff they wanted to do before the end of the show. You know, we skipped over a little bit.
They also-
Like during this whole case, we skipped over the fact that Ralph and Drew were on their little baseball get together, and then during the middle of the case, Walter helps out Paige with that. And again, really interesting, kind of like in the drag racing, Ralph can't associate with baseball. He's bored. He doesn't want to talk. But then
We talked about this last week too, didn't we? About us all and our experiences with baseball.
a little bit because
Oh, yeah.
Sylvester was talking
Yep.
about playing
Oh, yeah.
right field.
Okay, yeah,
you know
yeah.
when they were doing the drop off for the cell phone with Bedroni. But absolutely. But so Walter goes in there, saves the day by telling Drew about get the stats and start talking about this and do the Moneyball type of stats thing from the movie Moneyball.
Right.
And Ralph will be invested. So he kind of saved Drew there. But so we see that, and we see that Drew is thanking Walter for his help, but he admits he doesn't know how to bond with this kid.
Yeah, he's like, first he didn't understand me, and then I didn't understand him.
Yeah.
I couldn't
I know,
follow.
so weird. So I thought it was really interesting what Walter did. First of all, I'm surprised that Sylvester's catching because he said he couldn't play, but we saw him throw last week, so I guess he can catch.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a really cool way of getting like Drew and Walter involved with baseball and have them both talk in their own language, and Ralph just pay attention, and Ralph kind of dug it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really cute.
It was a nice little bonding moment.
We also never talked about all of the moments with Happy and Toby.
Oh, I thought we were saving that for
Okay,
last.
We're saving
I was
that.
like, wait.
Oh, we're not done. We're not done.
Okay,
We're just-
continue.
But-
Then you keep continuing.
Yeah,
I'll just
but-
stay here.
Drink your water.
But I think
I'll be over here.
We're gonna wrap soon. Alexa's gonna give us the 5-minute
Yeah.
count. I saw it already. But yeah.
I'll
But,
join again soon.
no, it's all good. But I thought it was interesting because obviously we know Walter cares about Paige.
Yeah.
And again, it's like his weakness, him and Ralph. But he also knows what's best for Ralph, and he also figures out that Ralph wants Drew to stay, and that's why he was failing at algebra. And I think that kind of hurts Walter a little bit, knowing that as long as Drew's in the picture, it's never going to be really easy for him and Paige to get together, or he doesn't see the connection there.
Right.
So, and then we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and then we also talked about maybe someone getting between Toby and Happy.
Oh, that happened. You called
And
that.
that
It was
happened.
today.
And it happens to be Temple.
Poor Toby, man.
I know.
Yeah.
He bought
But I
tickets.
mean-
And he
for-
bought tickets for a monster rally. They were like commemorative tickets. You could see them. They glistened when he held on to them.
But like, step up, go and ask
I
her
know,
out. You
right?
should have asked her out days ago.
See, he should have been episodes ago.
You should-
know?
exactly.
When I was
Episodes.
screaming at them to get together,
Yeah.
it took too long.
That's what happens when guys stall.
Yeah.
We move on.
When anyone stalls on anything.
Yeah.
Guys, Marina's telling you, go for it.
Look alive.
Call,
Just
call her
go
up right
for
now.
it.
Go for it.
Um,
Not me.
Yeah, she's on Twitter. Just hit her up.
Show your shoulder again. There you go. There you go.
You're not playing into having a boyfriend very well.
And Alexis is nodding her head. She's like, I'm done. I'm never doing the Scorpion panel. She quit. She just quit. Our producer just quit.
There
This
you
is
go.
great.
So, but
She can quit. I'll never let her quit.
Toby was so happy when she even said his name with boyfriend in the same sentence.
Oh,
you know?
yeah, that was
Oh,
cute.
yeah.
That was really cute.
I know.
But you know, the women go for the musicians, even the like shut down, like
Even the ones
you
that
know,
haven't been musicians in 20
He
years.
felt the
10
music
years,
industry
he's not
screwing
that
him
old.
over, and is all like sad and everything. And he ends up doing what Toby didn't do. He asks her out.
Yeah.
This won't last long.
No. I
Well,
don't think so.
You think so? I don't know.
Well,
yeah.
I don't know. I hope for Toby that it doesn't.
For a split second, I thought they were kind of like introducing him as a maybe recurring role.
The way Walter talked to him earlier in the
Yes.
episode, like you are one of us.
Exactly.
It's possible.
Yeah.
But I think this might be a good segue since we're running low on time to get into predictions.
Yes.
Fine.
All right.
So I know.
Fine.
Fine.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay. So I think, yeah, we definitely need to talk about, because I do like Temple. He's a really cool character. I do see him possibly being with the group. I think it would be kind of cool. I don't think he'll be a regular,
No.
but obviously he'll be around.
recurring. He'll be. Yeah.
And I think it would be a good foil for Toby.
Okay.
Yeah. So what do you guys think?
I only think. I never know again. But I
That's
think
why it's
Toby,
called predictions.
Yeah, I think Toby. Well, it's hard to predict when every episode is different.
Yeah.
Do you, girl?
But
You do you, boo.
I do.
Show your shoulder.
shoulder.
My prediction, I will see a shoulder in the
Okay,
future.
why you think for a second?
No,
Fine.
I have
Okay,
something.
go,
I
go,
have
go.
something. Okay, sorry about the screaming, guys. So I do think
Yeah.
that now Toby's gonna step up his game and he's gonna start fighting for Happy.
I hope so.
You know, he's gonna like go after her. Maybe he'll show up at their dates.
I think he'll be moping around the whole next episode.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
I
then
think he's
he'll,
gonna
like,
go.
get up
I
the
think he's gonna
courage.
go like stalk her-ish and show up at the date.
Okay.
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 I still want to see more of Happy's dad because they didn't go into that at all this episode, and I want her to get in there. And then I just am curious to see where this whole thing goes with Drew and Paige because, like, Drew's a good-looking guy. I'd be so mad if I was Walter.
You
I'd be
guys
like,
want him on the show.
"Shoot."
I know, y'all want him on the show.
All these girls are probably like, but Drew though. But I'm like, but Walter though. So
Yeah.
I'm with you, Ryland. I actually, yes, Drew is not bad to look at. Not
Yeah.
gonna lie. But
we want Walter to win, right?
I do.
Yeah.
No, I'm
Okay.
you should never left Drew. I actually
Bye.
think, bye. I actually think Drew is going to let down Ralph. Not like in a big way, like he's not gonna leave forever.
Just
but
enough.
he's gonna let him down enough for Ralph to realize I prefer to be with Walter. Walter's gonna be with me till the
I
end.
think so.
Yes.
Okay. I think Toby's gonna unravel because of this, and I think he's gonna end up like being the guy he just can't stop talking about Happy. I think he's either to Sylvester or I can see him with Walter. I think it'd be really funny if we saw Toby going to the monster rally with one of the guys instead of Happy. Like, well, I got the
Just
tickets
watching
already,
them.
just going.
Yeah.
But I definitely think Toby's gonna unravel a bit, and yeah, he's gonna eventually step up, but he's gonna go a little low.
Yeah, gotta
he's gonna
move.
sink down. I did say that someone was going to get in between the two of them. I said it was going to be his
You did.
ex-wife, though. I still see her in the picture eventually. Like maybe when
Another bump.
another bump in the road
Yeah.
down the line.
Yeah, maybe when they're actually together.
Around
Yeah.
the corner.
And then just for anybody who didn't look at scenes for next week, I'm just going to bring it up. So
earmuffs.
Bye.
earmuffs if you didn't.
Earmuffs.
We do see there's a lot with Cabe next episode and his ex-wife. Speaking of
Oh,
ex-wives,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
so I really think that I think it's going to be a really, really. We get to learn a lot about Cabe. Well, that's not really a prediction. We're going to learn a lot about Cabe in this episode. We definitely
Which is good,
are.
right? Because we barely saw him.
Yeah, and we see the way they're bonding, and we see even Walter call him a father figure in those clips. So I still think there's going to be a big swerve eventually, and Cabe's going to do something that's going to piss Walter off. And I think this is going to, again, set the tone for that. But anyway, I think that pretty much wraps it up. We got just about everything for this episode. Good episode, fun episode.
Yep.
So let's, so where can we find all you guys when we're not watching Scorpion or
Well,
AFTERBUZZ?
you guys can all come talk about Taylor Swift with me on Twitter at Ryland_Adams and on Instagram at Ryland Adams.
Guys, I'm so excited. I started personal training, and I'm also doing group training and online training. And so I changed my Twitter and Instagram. So no longer Rina Brazil. I changed it to Marina Santos Fit. Can't even spell my name. MarinaSantos Fit.
And show the shoulder.
And what?
And show the shoulder.
Wait.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, and the shoulder.
Okay, Ryland.
Nobody's gonna follow me now.
Do you want to sing a one? You go. You
No.
do you.
I want to see Ryland.
You do you, boo.
How do I compete with this?
You can't.
I don't
You
know.
can't.
What are you going to show?
It's all about
This
what
is
you
a
can show.
PG-13, sorry. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Monse Bolanos, MonseBolanos. You can also catch me on the Gotham podcast, which I do after this.
I'm so glad you didn't do anything because then I'd have to step up and show something. I know one's ready for that. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Nando Vel, Nandovel. You can find me also here on other shows like The Walking Dead, Homeland, and Blacklist, which is having their fall finale tomorrow. And also, hey guys, rate us on iTunes. If you're subscribed to us, please rate us. We have a couple of people, they've said some really good things. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. We'd love to get some more ratings there. It helps us all out. Also helps us out with publicists and cast members and whatever. We'll get some, I promise you, we're on the verge of getting some big ones here on the show. And yeah, feel free to comment to us on YouTube. We read all the stuff. So thank you very much. And until next week, tune in then. Thanks.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.